So, I have a thought. Well, I've had this thought for a while, but I got out of a relationship where my partner began to change rapidly and wanted me to become something that I wasn't. That's okay. So I tried that just to make them happy. It didn't work. I tried to become someone that I wasn't to make someone else happy. But I made myself very unhappy doing that. So I did. So I don't recommend doing that. You might think that you can convince yourself you'll be happy, but you won't. It's quite horrible. Yeah. My partner wanted me to stop doing the things that I'd always done. He didn't force anything upon me, but what he did force on me was his views that all of a sudden came out of nowhere. I didn't know he had these views. But his views were that women should cover up, especially me, because he didn't want another man looking at me. I wasn't allowed to pick certain jobs that I had been doing my whole life, my whole adult life, because he felt uncomfortable with it, which is fine, fair enough. But when someone tells you exactly what they do the first time you meet them, surely you'll decide there and then whether you want to be in a relationship with this person. So that was another thing. And it was quite a shock for me. This is just coffee with oat milk and a Kinder Bueno. Because Aunt Flo's here, so, spoiling myself. But yeah. I don't get why people want to change people when they already know what sort of person that person is, and then they commit themselves to this relationship and then they try to change someone. I don't understand that. I'll never understand that. I don't want to either. Well, I kind of do, but I kind of don't at the same time. Hello. My dog's here. You can't have any, it's chocolate. But yeah, it took me, God, how many weeks has it been? "14 weeks. 14 weeks after my breakup. That is crazy. Wow. Frig. That's crazy. 14 weeks after my breakup. And I get stronger every single day. It wasn't a very nice breakup. It was quite horrible. He went into my phone, which was always unlocked. He knew my code. There was a code, and he knew it, because there's nothing in there. And on my WhatsApp, because I've had the same mobile number since I was like 19, and I'm 30 now. So he went into my WhatsApp and seen that I had some blocked numbers from people I'm with. So that's fine. They were blocked for a reason, because I don't, have a relationship with them anymore. And then he just went psycho. I was on the toilet at this stage, having a pee. So I get up, and then he threatened to call one of these numbers, Which he did. As he was calling the number, he got me in a headlock. And he wouldn't let go. And I was screaming. And it seemed like it went on for a really long time. But I know it was like no more than 15 seconds. But it seemed like it went on for, I don't know, maybe about a minute, 2 minutes. And then he sort of loosened and I got free. And I went to climb out the bathroom window. And as I did, I turned round and he said something. I can't remember what he said. I think he called me something. I can't remember. But I turned round and he had moved over and he was handing me my phone. And I took it off him and I ran. I ran right past him. Through the hall and out the front door. And it's really, really sad because that's the last memory I have of him. And I don't think that's not a nice memory to have of anyone, a nice last memory to have of someone. You can have memories of people, but like a last memory of someone whenever you're physically with them, you know, your last memory. And it makes me laugh now because he got what he had always wanted. He wanted me to be terrified of him. And his last memory of me is me being terrified of him and running away. And I can laugh at it now. So I can. That his last memory of me is me being terrified and running. My last memory of him is him terrifying me and me running. And before I did, I seen his face and it was like something, it was like a mask. There was a mask up. And then I think like in a split second, the realization of what he had just done, what had just happened, hit him and his mask just went down and his face was just blank as if he knew exactly what he had just done. And I didn't look back. I only seen his face the moment I walked out the door. Well, I ran out the door. But yeah, I ran. And that was the last time I seen him. And that was 14 weeks ago. Today. It's so crazy how life changes. It changes so dramatically. In such a short space of time. And to me, my own experience, it feels like I was put in this relationship to learn something about myself. And I've learned quite a lot through the relationship and through the 2 breakups. The first one was, I'll get into that later. But I always was the sort of girl or woman that was for women's rights and, you know, equal rights and all that jazz. And I thought he understood that and he accepted that. I wasn't like pushing my femininity onto him and like I didn't want to be a man. This is one of the arguments he had. It's like, so you want to be a man? I was, no, I like being a girl. I very much enjoy being a girl. But it was like fights for no reason, like fights that didn't even make sense. One fight in particular, I can't even remember what it was. It was something to do with being a female anyway. And he was rummaging through like a bag and he was taking out books. And there was one book and he was, oh, I know what it was. It was to do with his drug addiction. That's what it was. Flip me. And I had loaned him money to buy these drugs. I don't do drugs. I used to be addicted to codeine years ago. 7 years ago. So I've been off it for 7 years. So, you know, the only drug I'll do is like wine on the weekends. That's about it. And coffee. But yeah, we argued about this money. because it had taken him $4 or 5 months to pay this back to me, and it really wasn't a lot of money. But he was buying other things for himself, and he was buying more drugs. So, you know, I was trying to set up a payment plan because I knew he couldn't pay it all back at once. It was like, you know, pay me back a certain amount every single week, and he did for the first 2 weeks, and then it just stopped completely because his drugs were just more important than paying back the money that he owed me. And for anyone that knows me, if I loan money off anyone, as soon as I get money that I have earned, I will pay that money back. But I never loan money off anyone unless I really, really need it. But anyway, I was sitting on the bed and he was standing here, and the conversation got heated, and he had the book in his hand and he went like that, and I flinched because the book was coming towards me, like it was aimed at me, but it hit the pillow that was sitting right next to me. And his reaction was, "Why are you flinching? I wasn't even throwing it at you. I wasn't even aiming for you." And I was just like, right, okay. I'm sorry I flinched, but something was coming towards me. So I'm sorry I flinched. And the only reason I did flinch was because he hit me before. He slapped me around the face. So that's the only reason I did flinch. I'm just so annoyed at myself that I didn't see what I see now. Oh, God. I wish we were born with the knowledge that we have now. But then life would be pointless, wouldn't it? It would be meaningless. Because I think you're here to learn and experience things, you know? And if I can pass any of my experience or knowledge or the things I've learned on other people, then I suppose what I went through was worth it. I suppose. But as you can probably tell, it hasn't made me into a scared, weak, feeble woman. It's done the opposite. And yes, there are times where I will get scared because of men. And I think that's built into us at a very young age. But my experience throughout that relationship has just completely changed the sort of person I am and the sort of person that I thought I wanted to be into this more assertive, aggressive, not in a bad way, but I just won't take shit anymore from anyone. And I've noticed that people have noticed my change and people don't like it. I don't think it's that they don't like it. They're not used to it. And it's going to take them a while to adjust. And that's okay, because change is hard for everybody. It's very hard. It's very hard for me. But I'm changing for the better. Because it's my future at the end of the day. You know, it's my life. And I have to change to make me a better person, to benefit me. It may sound selfish, but everything I do has to benefit me before it benefits anybody else. And that's the change that I'm going through. And it's pretty freaking great. I'm a long way from where I want to be. But I know that I'm on the right path. And I'm really proud of myself. I'm really proud of myself. I'm not looking for anything with anyone. The way I feel now, I've completely sworn off all relationships with men. Fuck that shit. I know there's good men out there. But he can find me sitting in my living room on my sofa. I don't care. I'm not going... I didn't even go looking for that relationship. I was in work. My God. That is a story and a half, but it's fine. It doesn't matter. I don't know. I just... life is so weird at the minute. Things things are starting to open up again. I'm driving now. My life is so different compared to how it was last year. It's so different, and I'm thinking of taking myself off somewhere with my wee sister. I'm thinking of just booking something and just going. That is crazy, isn't it? That is so crazy. But I want to do it. I do. I mean, I went and lay down in the rain yesterday, for fuck's sake. I'm not having a crisis. I'm just having, like, a realisation that I can do all these things. Like, I don't need someone beside me to take me to do these things. I can do these by myself. This is bloody amazing. Seriously. When you have that, like, light bulb moment, that moment where you're just like, wait, hold on a second. I can do that. I'm a person too. I can learn how to do that. I can go there. I can learn these things. I can do all those things. I know I can. And you know the best person to give you the pep talk when you're feeling anxious or scared is yourself. So that's why I record these videos. Because the past few days for me, I've just been like, oh, I just don't want to. But if I sit and talk to myself, it's like I'm holding up a mirror and I'm talking to myself because I'm going to listen to myself. I'm just excited. I'm excited because things are changing for the better. And things are looking up. Yeah. And it feels good. It feels really, really good. Okay, I'm done. Bye.